Hello, my valued viewer. Um, I just got out of the shower. It's hot, but I feel like ranting about crap. So, I'm going back to like 2020, bringing out the tier lists. I like Terraria, but I don't like all the NPCs. I felt like randomly ranting and raving about the NPCs of Terraria. I'm gonna objectively rank them, and so there'll be very few in S and F, and C is the average. C is not bad. C is average. S is like the best one. F is like the worst one. It's like the top 5%, bottom 5%. You get the idea. And it'll be pretty objective at every level of the game, and then very like a little bit of consideration for like lore and whatnot. Um, Whatever. Let's get started. Guy's the best. Don't care. Um, so the guide is factually the best NPC in the game. Factually the best. He's a built-in wiki. Uh, wiki. I don't care. Call it Wikipedia. Wiki. I don't care. If you're new to the game, absolutely the best. Like he's a 20 out of 10. He'll tell you how to summon every boss. He'll tell you like you just bring a material to him, hit the crafting button, put it in the crafting slot. It'll show you whatever you want to make with it. Like he's just a busted character. Uh, he's even more convenient than actually looking stuff up in your phone because you can just even as a more experienced player, magic mirror back and talk to the guide with whatever if you in case you forgot something. So say you want to know how to make any potion in the game, get a bottle of water. And the guide's that good. So it's hot enough that I have to take these off because it's making me sweat. My college doesn't have good AC, but it's still a decent college. Um, I also find the guy to be funny because he's a simple guy. I I like simplicity. Simple is beautiful. I also believe in objective beauty. The guide is he's okay, but I think it's hilarious that he objectively he canonically dies. Like he canonically dies and comes back to life with no explanation. Like his whole lore significance is that he's supposed to be like the last guide in like a tribe of guides or something, and he just is replaced nonchalantly with no further mention. Like he just he just spawns back the next day after you sacrifice him to summon a boss. Oh, I should mention this now. Anything that can be attributed to an NPC will be. Um, for example, the clother is not like I'm not having the old man too because they're the same guy. Um, Even though you can learn about how to build a house online, the guide tells you how to build a house, and that's like the most important thing to know in Terraria. He can tell you about crafting stations just by bringing him random materials. Like he made me learn about like ectomist and stuff. So, whatever. Kind of busted character, very good. Automatically S tier. He's the only one going up there. Um, if you think otherwise, you're wrong. Um, because without him, you probably wouldn't know how to play the game. This is for the modern patch, so the 1.4.4.9 or whatever. But I played it back in the day. I don't think I got it. I got it when Orcram was the final boss, so 1.2. Or at least it was 1.2 on mobile. How long ago was that? I remember Lepus and like Turker the Ungrateful and like some other things that don't exist anymore. But Skeletron's epic still. All right, we got the merchant. The merchant is solid A tier, or near the bottom of it, I'd say probably. Now the merchant is just good. He sells you potions and stuff. Moves in very quickly. He's probably like the second or third NPC you get. As long as you have money, you can just move in pretty much. I think it's like 50 silver or something. Now the reason he's overpowered, actually there's several, but uh, he can sell pylons, I guess. He can even cook marshmallows if you really want. Whatever. What he's really useful for is piggy banks and safes, an extra portable inventory wherever you go. So it's like having the void bag without having the void bag. Like you can just carry your piggy bank around and have an extra inventory. It's very very convenient. Um, Also, absolutely necessary for challenge runs, specifically, not the bees. So, kind of good. I hate the nurse. Um, the nurse is a garbage NPC. Um, her only use is to have an happiness set up with the arms dealer. That's literally it. Or cheese bosses, which I think takes away from the game, and therefore is not a good thing. She can't even sell pylons. She can't sell anything else. She just heals you, and quite honestly, natural regen is good in this game, even by sitting down or being at a campfire. Yes, chairs give you regen, and I think I might have used her once or twice ever in all my years, but because the arms dealer's decent and she buffs the arms dealer for a quick pylon early game, because she might be the second or third NPC you get along with the merchant, um, and just the fact that she buffs a good NPC brings her not at the worst. Ooh, but the demolitionist sucks. The demolitionist objectively garbage. Um, all of his stuff drops from pots and chests, or most of it. But you're not going to use like anything. You might use bombs early game to blow up orbs. I keep bombs on me just in case I want to do something goofy and make a elevator or something. But you get enough bombs from pots and stuff that you never need this guy. E tier, not good for happiness setups. I don't use the underground pylon until I get to the underworld anyway. And if it's a challenge run, I guess it's like the first. Like if it's like the Zenith seed, I guess it could be the first pylon you get, but I haven't played through that seed, so I don't care. The angler is solid B tier, maybe, depending how you look at it, because the merchant, you need to pretty much have the merchant to have the angler. One of the other things I didn't mention about the merchant is that he sells the bug net. The bug net gives you bugs, very simple, which allows you to fish. And the anglers, he just has fishing quests. So without the merchant, the angler's garbage. Like but I actually kind of like the angler, even though he's very tedious. He has components of the cell phone, and you can assume you do get that as his other unique item. Like the unique item he has is the golden fishing rod at 50 quests. He'll incentivize you to go fishing and discover the biome fishes, which you probably wouldn't go out of your way to fish if you didn't have this guy. And the achievements, probably the achievements, quite honestly. And so I think it's a rather clever idea to get you into those things. And the biome buffs are really good, uh, especially the crimson ones. Just saying, or I guess one of the crimson ones and one of the corruption ones. And the summoning potion is just good. The summoning potion is just good. Anyway, the dryad's maybe better than the angler. I think maybe worse because she's not necessary. Why did I right click? What is in right click? I can make a QR code for this page. Well, this is not a page, so I can't do that. It's a random app called Tier List Pro. I downloaded it as well as several viruses. But anyway, the Dryad's kind of okay. She's good for the jungle and easy jungle pylon. That's really her big thing because the jungle pylon, other than the ocean one, which the angler can't sell, uh, is the best pylon in my opinion. Because horizontal movement is much more tedious than vertical because you can make elevators. Um, I do like the underground pylon, but we're not there yet. Jungle pylons maybe the best. Um, Ocean is kind of tedious to get. That's why I'm saying that it would be the best if you could just choose them. But jungle, you're gonna be at the jungle side a lot in the game. The jungle side also has the shimmer in between the jungle and the ocean. I always just dig down between them, and I just find it every time. If you're wondering where that is, um, she's pretty solid. She sells the little planter boxes, which gives you like infinite herbs, pretty much. Very useful to have. Other than that, purification powder, which allows you to get the tax collector and the mystic frog turning into the one slime that I can't remember. Um, and slow. Did I just say and slow? I am a little bit slow, aren't I? But she's nothing too crazy, but she's definitely above average. Definitely above average. So Dryad's B tier. This guy. Wow. Why do I actually think the angler's good for some reason? I must be insane. Actually, alright. The arms dealer is a little bit overrated. He's not bad at all. He's actually above average. He's pretty good. Um, Again, the quickest happiness setup is just the arms dealer, the nurse in the desert, and he'll sell the desert pylon. Um, Nothing special. Very specific to a class. I think if you are going ranger, you should have a gun no matter what, because at the very least you can get one of like I used I used cursed bullets and then Icor arrows usually, and having both buffs on them at the same time is just really useful, um, and less of a hassle than like switching arrows for higher level players. But he's class specific. He sells a pylon that's not that good because usually the desert's right next to spawn anyway. But he can be useful, but he's very specific to a class. Given if you do want a sidearm, guns aren't the worst option. Um, Piercing is an issue though, so maybe even a flail would be a better option. But most flails are kind of garbage, except for the what do you call it? The red one in the beginning of hard mode. I can't remember it. Never mind. Oh, the die trader's bad. Who do I hate more? At least the die trader has some unique things. The die trader has just cosmetics, garbage, uh, not useful for a pylon because you're gonna already have the desert one from the arms dealer and nurse. Has no objective use. I hate getting the mysterious plants or whatever they're called. I think they're dumb. How to use this app? I zoomed in so that you can't see the fact that I have no ad blocker. Oh, I didn't even hide the tier options there. Whatever. You can't see those anyway. Um, Also, all my images are super small because I stole them off the wiki. But Die Trader's just bad. Painter's pretty decent though. Painter's solid, middle of the road. Um, Unlike the nurse, like he's another one that just makes another NPC better. Like the Dryad just makes the Dryad better. Um, has a unique cosmetic again, this time for houses as opposed to yourself. But quite honestly, I don't really look at my own character. Just looks like a mess all the time. Even if I do have vanity on because I'll be switching the vanity. like it's just a mess, and even the accessories too. Um, the your Terraria character is gonna just look weird most of the time, and as long as it looks like a full set of armor, that's all the same armor, then you're fine. Um, but the painter, you get him pretty early. I think you have to have 7 or 8 NPCs, no problem to have around the time you get the Dryad, and combined with the Dryad, you can get the jungle pylon. Wow, I can't speak. He's decent for happiness with her, even though happiness isn't a super issue in this game because money is not a big deal in this game. Um, Even though people pretend to get mad at the Goblin Tinkerer. But yeah, the painter is just kind of mid. the bottom of C tier probably. I kind of like him. Simple design, simple character. Um, I kind of appreciate him more because of Fargo's mod probably, but he's mostly just useful to get the jungle pylon, if I'm being honest, which is very very good. But that's really all he has. Other than that, even in challenges, he's not that useful. So he's just staying in the middle of the road. The stylist, the stylist is going to go ahead of the painter. I actually like the stylist quite a bit because Ocean Bylon mostly, but she also feels more rewarding to get. I like the characters that reward you for exploring, and out of the characters on this list, she's the first to do that. So if you go into the spider biome, you might find her tied up in the spider biome, and if you save her, you get her. Um, and she can sell the ocean pylon with the angler. So the stylist is pretty cool. Her hair dyes, you're never gonna see them, so that's why I was thinking between putting her in front or behind the painter because her aesthetical, her whatever, her visual garbage is very unseen. Like your head's gonna have a helmet on it like all the time anyway. And who wants to have health hair dye when you have the health bar on the top right of the screen anyway? So she's middle of the road. She can't go any higher. It's just that the angler can't sell the pylon, but the stylist can get it, and the ocean pylon is pretty good. I always put it on the dungeon side, so you can just teleport to either side of the world right away. And I usually don't bother with the frost pylon, but we might talk about that later. Oh, here to here, yeah. So the zoologist is very good in this video game. Um, I like her as a character. Um, she's like cursed to be like a were fox or whatever they call it. But I also have to give her credit because benefit of the doubt or whatever I said at the beginning. I have to give her as much credit as possible. She sells three other NPCs, being the dog, cat, and bunny. Um, and she sells them when you have 25 or 45% of the bestiary complete, respectively, and therefore you can credit her for 45% of the bestiary at the very least, or using the bestiary at all, because I think that the bestiary is the other half of the wiki that the guide has. The other half, um, the guide has lots of guiding things to like actual objectives, uh, and crafting things, while she has just like mob drops and stuff. She has a whip that nobody uses, a book that you could buy if you're catching bugs, maybe. Other than that, she sells three other NPCs. But anyway, um, so like the zoologist goes, well, she could sell the forest pylon as well. She's good for happiness. But I like her as a character because she has a big brother being the golfer, and I like that they have characters that are just like related to each other as opposed to just being romances like the the arms dealer and the nurse are together. Wow, crazy! I do like the goblin and the whatever mechanic, um, but I kind of like that they just have like actual like family as well. So like a brother sister thing. I like that. I think that's cute in my video game about killing demons and slaying a like god of the moon. So I like the zoologist. Good character. Um, and very useful to use the bestiary and literally sells three other NPCs. The Tavern Keep. Thing is, there's a lot of bad NPCs, so I think I have to put him at the bottom of C tier, and I think he's gonna stay at the very bottom of C tier. This is one of those characters that you can have and never talk to and be fine. But with the Tavern Keep, he has an event technically. I don't like the Old Ones army. I think it's interesting, I guess, but I really it sucks. It just sucks. Super tedious to get any item he sells. He sells like the most items in the game or something. But it's super tedious to do anything with this guy. And the old one's army just constantly evolves anyway. By constantly, I mean very, very rarely and slowly throughout the game. So you might as well do it at the very end of the game and just do it once. Um, like I don't even bother doing it before the Moon Lord because I'm like, okay, I beat the Golem. Might as well do my last preparations and then fight the big bad guy. I don't care about Betsy or any of the other characters in this. I understand it's like a crossover or whatever. I don't care though. I just don't care. Garbage, garbage character. You don't need to use him. Very tedious to get anything he has. He has some decent items, but they're barely even better than the ones that are very very convenient to get and uh, probably more viable anyway. Next we have the golfer. I kind of like the golfer, but he is just gonna go like right. Uh, no, here. I like the golfer. That's why I'm putting him average, but like nothing special. All right, it's the special thing that gets him to be average. He doesn't sell anything of actual practical use. Um, he's just you find him in the desert, so he's kind of satisfying to get like the stylist. Uh, if you're newer to the game, if you're like me and you randomly stumbled upon him one time, and you're like, oh hi. Um, I like that they added a mini game to Terraria. It has some complexities, and your like golf score gets them to sell new items. Again, I like that they're siblings, probably because I just left mine to go to college again. But I like the golfer. Very simple guy, good for happiness setups with the zoologist and guide. Although the guide doesn't actually matter. I think he actually dislikes the guide. I can't remember. I don't care because the guide's happiness doesn't matter. That's that's like what the wiki says. So, Goblin Tinker is the second best NPC. Um, some might try and argue that he is an S tier or whatever. He can't though, and that's because he got nerfed in the Labor of Love update. And those who know the game already know where I'm going with this. He has two items that you're gonna buy right away and a special ability. So his two items are the rocket boots and like the Tinker's Workshop. Everything else is pretty much useless. It's like a one other thing, but you won't actually use it. Um, the Tinker's Workshop can be used to combine accessories. So the rocket boots and like Hermes boots or whatever can make Spectre boots, and later into the Terra Spark boots. But you don't absolutely need that. Um, it's good. Accessories are good in this video game, but it's not an absolute necessity. Some things are just crafted and they don't have an upgrade. Like wings, all wings have no upgrade. Um, and some other basic accessories just don't have an upgrade, or they're fine on their own. Um, but if you want to get something like the Charm of Myth, that's pretty useful, or the Ankh Shield, definitely get this. Like it's a good thing to have. Like get this thing. It's just objectively, it's not the most critical thing. His special ability is to reforge items, which is the most convenient way to do it. However, you can technically go to the Shimmer and decraft whatever item you want and recraft it over and over until you get the reforge you want, and that will be done for free. It's extremely more tedious than going to the Goblin Tinker, but you can technically do it and save a couple bucks. So the Goblin Tinker is slightly less useful. He has the underground pylon, which is really good. Um, and I like him as a character. He feels very satisfying to get. He's a two-step character, so you need to beat the Goblin army, and then you find him randomly underground, and he tells you that the goblins abandoned him and rejected him and stuff. Either blame him for losing, or just think he's a nerd or something. And so they resprite a goblin and just make him an NPC. I like him. He's great. The Witch Doctor is. I have to put him in B tier probably. Oh man, because some of the next guys are bad. He's like the bottom of B tier. He's barely above average. B is barely above average. Um, A is acceptably above average, and S is just you are the stinking guide. The Witch Doctor, you could play the whole game and not really get him. He's useful for a single class, B or two classes actually, which is why he's in B tier. He's good for melee and summoner because he has the like imbuing station or whatever, which allows you to get one buff for melee attacks. So it can be the Ichor debuff or the Flames debuff. Uh, you might not even know about this if you play the game. The only other thing he's useful for is like wings. He sells leaf wings, which are technically the best immediately out of pre-hard mode. So he sells those at night um, in the jungle for like 2 platinum or something. He's like crazy expensive, but he does sell them. He's great for happiness with the Dryad. He sells the jungle pylon, but you already will have the Dryad at this point, or you can have the Dryad at the same time that you have the Witch Doctor, because you just beat a boss then. That's a requirement. The Witch Doctor is beating a specific boss, being the Queen Bee, and he just shows up for some reason. He's secretly a lizard, which is the reason why I'm really putting him above C tier. And afterwards, in the credits, it shows that him and the princess go and uh, make peace with the lizards or whatever. So, uh, not a suspicious tale at all. Um, no green head sticking out here, but he's he's not horrible. He's just not too crazy. The mechanic's a very niche character. Another one that can support another. So you'll probably put her in the underground with the Goblin Tinkerer, even though she hates the underground. She can. She's really happy in like the ice biome or whatever. So you can buy that pylon from her if you move her there. Wiring is very niche in this game. It allows for some creative aspects that I don't care about. Uh, Even though I don't like comparing Minecraft to Terraria because they're completely different games. It does like Redstone. I don't care about Redstone. Um, Both wiring and Redstone add new things to the game, but I don't care. Like I does that give me bigger sword? No. So I don't care. Does that give me more health? No. Do not care. Does that make boom bigger? No. So I don't care as much about the mechanic, but like her as a character, um, she's somewhat satisfying to get because she's in the dungeon. Uh, some of that is taken away from like the Tavern Keep and one of the slimes, but whatever. Um, she was the original. Ugh. Wiring has some niche uses with like statues, especially the heart and star statue, but they're usually more of a hassle than they're worth. So she's going in B tier barely. I don't know. Why do I have to put her in B tier? She'll go there. She can play the whole game without the Witch Doctor. Whatever. Drops the prices on reforges for the Goblin. Alright. The Clother is. I can't put him any further than that. The Clother is an NPC that I really like. He is dripped out. Very cool character. Probably the most satisfying to get in the game because he's the old man who's cursed by Skeletron or whatever. Um, that's about it. He sells some clothing. So he has not much of an objective use, but he is satisfying to get. He has lore significance. Um, Other than that, he's nothing special, quite honestly. But I do think he's the most satisfying to get in the game, and therefore is already better than the nurse and all of these losers that'll be down here. Very rewarding to get. You could use the cosmetics. You could resummon Skeletron for Chippy's couch or something. So There's that. The wizard. See, the wizard is hard carried by like one item he has, and that's like the magic orb thingy, the crystal ball, whatever. It increases your magic power, but and that's until you die. Other than that, he's completely useless. He just feels like he just randomly shows up. You don't need the hollow pylon. He's just there. I haven't even seen him attack in the game because I never put him in a position where he needs to. So I don't even know like how niche do I have to think to get him to be useful. Like the items he sells are pretty much useless. Unless you want like the iCore book, which is a decent sub weapon against like the destroyer or other multi-segment or multi-target enemies. But he's just kind of bad. Like he's just kind of garbage. Like he just sells like that one item and has some niche uses. So he's staying in D tier. The steampunker, even worse than the nurse, quite honestly. I hate the steampunker. Pretty unsatisfying to get. Just shows up after a mechanical boss. Sells the Clantaminator, if I'm saying that right. I don't care. That item is like the most overrated thing in the game. People panic because in hard mode, corruption spreads. Corruption and crimson will spread a lot, um, and threaten to destroy your jungle or whatever. Oh, the hollowed also spreads, but who cares? Um, you're almost never gonna be put in a situation where your world's gonna be overrun by the world evil or the hollow. Um, and quite simply, you could still use the like magic powder or whatever, and it's like just use a little bit of that, I guess, and just cleanse your world or use a sunflower maybe block the evil. Like the steampunker is so overrated. Like I kind of want to put her lower, but the die trader, I'm not putting her at the same level as the die trader. Um, she's pretty bad, very unsatisfying to get. You only need to beat one mechanical boss. It only sells that one item and is hard carried by it. Um, is annoying for happiness. I think she doesn't get along with the arms dealer in the desert. So, I don't care. She sucks. She's just a garbage character, much like the pirate. But the pirate is actually right up here. Yeah, that's right. He is the worst. Like he is actually the worst. They the Goblin Tinker. All they had to do was resprite the Goblin, put a suit on him, and he's just like funny, and he's somehow the second best in the game. They didn't even put the bare minimum effort into this guy. He's literally just the normal pirate captain, but an NPC. Not only that, but the Goblin Tinker has multi steps. Like he has some like lore to him or whatever, and he feels somewhat satisfying to get. In fact, actually, he's probably the second most satisfying to get, apart from the Clother. And the pirate captain, like I hate the pirates already, and I hate the pirate captain because he sells nothing of use. Even if you don't have the ocean pylon yet, and he sells it, you you might just have the conch shell to teleport anyway from the angler. So he's just utterly useless. Just utterly useless. Garbage. No effort. No significance to the game whatsoever. You could literally not know he exists in the game, and have no problem miss zero items of significance. Um, so there you go. The truffle is, I like him a little bit better than the wizard. I might put him up into average, but I don't think I can. The truffle, how do I say this? Oh right, he's garbage. So the truffle's just bad. Like he's just bad. He sells the one thing to make Shrewmite or whatever. Shrewmite's not that good. It's for a specific class, being the ranger. It's somehow the best despite having a garbage set bonus. Um, that is pretty much all there is to him. Like you just make an above ground glowing mushroom biome, which is super underutilized. It doesn't feel that unique, or it feels unique upon your first encounter, but after that you're like, oh, okay, next. Like it doesn't have too much special to it, and so I can't put him any higher. Uh, I I might be able to put him lower, but there's just not much the truffle contributes at all. There is a like mushroom pylon, I'm pretty sure, but who cares? Like in hard mode, you're not going underground as much. You're going underground in the jungle. You're going underground through your elevator to get the ores in the beginning of hard mode. But other than that, you're just gonna target your evil spots underground, your evil and your hollow, to get souls and grind for Ong Shield items, and that's about it. Just kind of bad. Tax collector is better than these two because I just hate them. The tax collector is pretty bad. He has just a special ability, and that's taxing everybody, and you can collect money. That's it. Nothing else. He has a unique way to get them, but again, that's contributed by the Dryad using the whatever you called it, powder, purifying powder. I'm gonna have to make fun of myself so much while editing, but basically he's just garbage. He's nothing too special. I like that he's being tortured in hell. I think that's kind of funny for Scrooge. I mean, not Scrooge copyright, but he's I can't even talk about him anymore. Like that's literally all. The cyborg's pretty bad. Um, doesn't even feel satisfying to get. There's so much text being spat at you for both of these characters, like that you probably won't even notice half the time when these two move in, because it's like, oh, I beat Plantera, okay. Like as an experienced player, you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go kill Gollum now. As a new player, you're like, oh, okay, I wonder what the jungle, like, I wonder what the temple, or, oh, wait, I said the right word, actually. Yeah, I wonder what the temple's like on the inside. The heat's getting to me. So you might check the jungle and get killed by lizards immediately in traps. Or you might check the dungeon. Just saying. You're not gonna be checking the cyborg. Like the cyborg just sells rocket launchers, which are tedious enough to use because you have to go to specific events and times, like the lunar eclipse, or have specific moon phases to buy certain rockets, and they're not even that good anyway. Like just use literally any other ranger item at this point in the game. So I might put him lower if I feel like it, but he's kind of bad. Party Girl is barely below average. The reason why I think she's better than these guys is because she at least has cake. And she has her own little mini event being parties. Um, so there's that. You get to see everyone with hats. There's literally nothing else. She has like a 1 in 40 chance to spawn in after you have like 12 NPCs or something. Oh, did I mention the cake only lasts for like 3 minutes? So it's not even that good, but still better than all these losers. The princess is kind of bad. Kind of bad. Yeah. I mentioned before the thing with the witch doctor. She's also the only other kid in the game, along with the angler. They're both like kids or whatever. You can tell because they're like midgets. But you don't really use her for much. She doesn't feel too satisfying. It's just when you get all the NPCs, then boom, she shows up. Oh wait, the party girl kid too? Maybe she's short. Um, kind of like the goblin, but and also the demolitionist. I'm getting sidetracked, which I tend to do a lot. The princess is kind of useless. That's pretty much it. She sells some cosmetics, some other junk that are also cosmetics. That's it. Like she just sells cosmetics. um, Pretty much just carried by any satisfaction you might get. I might actually have room to move this guy down. Anyway, Santa's not as bad as this loser. Um, Santa is at least funny that he's in the game, but I hate the fact that there's a seasonal character that doesn't just stay. Like, a seasonal event is fine, but at least let the character stay permanently. But it doesn't really matter that much because he's the most useless NPC in the game somehow. Like, I'd rather have the tax collector over him because he doesn't sell any item of significance. Maybe I should put the tax collector over anyone that sells garbage, just out of spite and nothing else. I like that idea actually. Um, anyway, the slimes are pretty satisfying to get. I think they're better than the tavern keep. Um, they're nothing too special, but they can be used as an NPC requirement for using pylons, so they count as one of the two. I'm pretty sure. Um, I think they're funny that they're in the game. They're somewhat satisfying to find. And the last one I got out of all these guys was the copper sword one. I'm not even joking. I I like found out how to do all of the other ones except the copper sword one. Like the quickest one to get. The magical frog or mystic frog that was free compared to the throw copper sword on an enemy. Um, or on a slime. But yeah, I like the slimes. I think they're kind of funny. The traveling merchant is not kind of funny. He's really annoying. But he's not as bad as the truffle. Dude, the truffle's just garbage. I might have to move the wizard up, even though he's super carried by the crystal ball. Oh man, the traveling merchant's so annoying. He never sells what you want. He has like 3 items that you might want in the game. Other than that, even the Zappinator's overrated. Both of them, both the Zappinators suck. Um, they have like a crit rate, so people are like, "Oh wow, you can do that." And I don't care. They're not even that good of a ranger weapon, or I guess they're technically a mage weapon. Whatever. He just sells garbage. At least you can kill him, get his hat, and throw it in the shimmer for to increase his inventory by 1. I just buy a bunch of pho from him and just get medium stat improvements once he sells that. So um, that's about it. Like you don't need the cell phone that much. Like the angler's not even carried that much from the cell phone, just from the incentive to use fishing. But the traveling merchants just he just shows up and he's just annoying to deal with. All right, skeleton merchant. Right there. He can't get much higher. Um, he has some cool items. Um, he has like a permanent buff. I can't really remember what it is. I think it's just like block placement range or something. It's not too crazy. He has the counterweight, which is a yo-yo accessory. Does he sell the bag too? I think he also sells like the bag component too. Um, and he has the glow sticks, which reveal treasure, which is actually useful. It's like a free spelunker potion all the time if it's your top glow stick. So that's a really cool item. Discovered that in my last playthrough, my hardcore playthrough, and if you want to see that, um, I'll put it at the end or something. I don't know. Creative YouTube magic. Let's see if this is like symmetrical. Definitely not moving another one up to A tier. 5. A lot more than that. I guess for it to be better, I'd have to move one from D or E into C. Alright, to be more fair, I'm going to move the tax collector up because the tax collector, I'll at least sometimes talk to him to collect a couple bucks, which is almost nothing. I never interact with any of these NPCs. Um, I interact with the steampunker once, so he's better. She's better than the tax collector. Out of like these 5, though, I'm trying to think if I can reorganize them. Even the painter. I like. I just like the clother. Cry about it. I might actually have to move the wizard to average. You suck more than the truffle. But at least I use all these. I think that's a better order. Nah. Let's see here. I kind of hate the tavern keep, but the wizard is hard carried. Whatever. I think if it actually, if the crystal ball is active for summons, then he might be slightly higher on this list. I think this is pretty accurate. The witch doctor is useful for 2 classes, unlike the arms dealer. But it's just 1 buff. The arms dealer is like an entire extra weapon, which can also be a buff. The mechanic. I think she's carried by the goblin tinker, quite honestly. Dryad will stay. Angler will stay. These will stay. These will stay. These will stay. This seems like a pretty good ranking. Seems pretty objective. Relatively symmetrical. I may have to move another one into C tier to make it more symmetrical, or promote one to B tier. So it is technically magic damage. So the wizard does not affect summons, but does give you plus like 20 mana. So he's pretty solid for the mage class. But I don't think he's as strong as literally any of the characters above him. I'm saying that I would rather have the skeleton merchant in the game than the wizard. I would rather have the slimes in the game than the wizard. The painter in the game than the wizard. That is objectively what I'm saying. And that the same logic applies for everything. So if I could only have one NPC in the game, it would be the guide. It would be the guide. Only 2, the guide and the goblin tinker. Everyone else can die. All the rest can just be forgotten about. I'd be fine with that. If I had just these top 2 tiers, I'd be fine. Just these 3, I'd literally, like, the game wouldn't change. The game would not change with these top 3 tiers. And so that's it. This is the objective Terraria ranking for NPCs. Whooper agrees. Whooper's happy with this, so I'm pretty happy with this. I think for data's sake, I may have to move the golfer up, though, just because it's asymmetrical. Like, that's it. All right. Because of how this has to work in my mind, It should be increasingly more common as it gets towards the center, and therefore the golfer would need to be in the B tier. Party girl would need to move up as well. Um, this looks more like it should. Um, Whatever. I like the golfer. Party girl is kind of useless, but compared to other characters, like at least I'll use her once per run, regardless of class. Well, all of the other characters below her, I just don't interact with. I interact with the traveling merchant, but it's never a pleasure. It's never a pleasure. And he doesn't have any required item by any means. It's all convenience. Even he doesn't even have the good items for the cell phone, so he can be forgotten about. So this is the objective Terraria ranking, and my rant on it. Um, Seems pretty solid, um, unless there's some major updates to the game that nerf the Goblin Tinker into the ground even more, or somehow nerf the guide. Um, then this is gonna stay, uh, because this is the final Terraria update. It was at one time, which was said about like the past 12 updates, but it's fine. Terraria will stop evolving as a game totally. Well, I mean, they're also gonna have 1.5 or whatever come out soon, or 1.4.5, whatever. Anyway, if you like this kind of opinionated type video, even on Terraria, let me know in the comments. Um, I kind of like ranting. I think other people find it more enjoyable than me, um, which is weird because I don't necessarily like hearing myself talk that much, but I tend to talk a lot, as you can tell. This is like an hour long probably, but if you want to see me actually play Terraria, I've, my hardcore game probably like right here or here or here at the moment. Um, Wait, I'm in the top right, so it should be over here or over here. I don't care. If you do want me to do a specific challenge, let me know. Especially if it's for either this or Hollow Knight. I wanted to do a Hollow Knight randomizer, but I've had to switch computers multiple times, or not multiple times, like one time. I did multiple randomizers. Let's just say I've played through the game in its entirety multiple times on a randomizer. Had to do skips that I've never done in my life. I'm not a speedrunner. So anyway, um, let me know if you want me to do any challenge runs in the comments on Hollow Knight or on Terraria. Let me know if you enjoyed this, by liking it or just saying it. And if you disagree with any of these, or think that there's a better way to either do the tier list or position the characters on here, let me know in the comments what your tier list would be like. But other than that, thanks for watching. May God bless you today and forever. See ya.